where news comes first. This is ABC-7 Extra.
Welcome to ABC-7 Extra. Good evening, I'm Eric Elkin. For the next half hour, we'll be unpacking the drama that's unfolded over the last month over the city manager's contract extension. But beyond that, this is also meant to broaden the discussion about how decisions really are made here in El Paso and if the form of government we have is working the way it's intended. El Paso currently has a council-manager form of government as opposed to what's referred to as a strong mayor government. It's been that way since the city charter was approved in February of 2004. The city's website defines the form of government in this way, quote, "This system combines the strong political leadership of elected officials in the form of city council with the strong managerial experience of an appointed local government manager. All power is concentrated in the elected council, which hires a professionally trained manager to carry out its directives and oversee the delivery of public services." And that manager is this man, El Paso City Manager Tommy Gonzalez. He's a polarizing figure in our city government. For many, the only reason why, his salary. He earns more than $400,000 per year, but supporters of his say he's done a good job for El Paso since being appointed to the position 8 years ago. That includes much support from City Council, which has approved performance raises and incentives to his salary, which started at just shy of $240,000 in 2014 and has increased nearly 70% in the time since. His most recent contract wasn't set to expire until 2024, but news broke last month of his potential departure for the same position elsewhere, and we reported his contract showed the city could be on the hook for up to nearly $1 million of your taxpayer money in severance pay. That started what appeared to be a power struggle between El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser and City Council. On May 10th, it's announced El Paso City Manager Tommy Gonzalez. He's one of 4 finalists for the same position in the city of Frisco, located just north of Dallas. On May 16th, District 3 City Representative Cassandra Hernandez calls for a special meeting to discuss Gonzalez's contract, which is typically reviewed in June. That same day, Council votes 5-3 to extend Gonzalez's contract 5 years to 2029 with the possibility of a raise up to $450,000. Shortly after the vote, Gonzalez releases a statement saying he's removed himself as a finalist for the Frisco position, adding, quote, "I'm committed to El Paso. We're not finished here." But 2 days later, on May 18th, El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser vetoes the contract extension, calling it, quote, "the right thing to do," because Gonzalez's contract wasn't up until 2024.
I want to be able to look at what the cap will be, what the new benefits would be, and what will be the impact, and what will be the payout, whether it's today or at the end of the contract.
At the city's next meeting on Monday, May 23rd, Council drops a veto override effort and instead votes to extend the city manager's contract 5 years. Except this time, the vote had a supermajority 6-2 in favor, with District 6 Representative Claudia Rodriguez now supporting the extension. This extension no longer included the salary cap of $450,000, but still allows for performance raises already in his current contract. On May 26th, Mayor Leeser vetoes the contract extension again, a second veto in just 10 days, citing, quote, "overwhelming feedback from constituents against an extension." Leeser saying in a statement in part, quote, "I thoughtfully considered whether to veto this item, but the fact remains that nothing has changed since last week. The city manager has a current contract. The performance of the city manager has no bearing on this action. When it is time to renegotiate his contract, that renegotiation will happen in good faith." But 11 days later, when Council is back in session on June 6th, Council has the supermajority needed to override the mayor's veto with a 6-2 vote. Emotions coming to the forefront during public meeting, including a back and forth between District 1 Representative Peter Schwartzbein and Mayor Leeser.
You need to be professional.
I thought we're in a democracy, sir.
All right, and that's why I have the floor. And you need to be quiet while I have the floor, you understand? Now, I remember why Mayor Margo did not like you.
Later that night, Representative Schwartzbein files a code of conduct complaint against Mayor Leeser, recounting an alleged incident in council chambers in February, saying he, quote, "felt in physical danger if Leeser continued to follow him out of the chamber." District 5 Representative Isabel Salcedo, witnessing part of that interaction, corroborating part of Representative Schwartzbein's story, saying, quote, "I saw Mayor Leeser appear very upset and confront Rep. Schwartzbein by following him to his seat, which seemed intimidating." Mayor Leeser issued a statement that night describing Representative Schwartzbein's account as, quote, "revisionist history." The next day, on June 7th, ABC-7's Dylan McKim questions the mayor about the alleged incident.
In that complaint, Representative Schwartzbein mentioned an incident that happened in February saying you physically threatened him saying, "Shut your mouth or I will shut it for you." Did you say that?
That's very untrue.
Untrue?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any reason why he would say something like that?
You'd have to ask him.
Nearly a month of back and forth all over the city manager's contract and questions surrounding the mayor's veto power, all on very public display. And joining me now are two of El Paso's former mayors, Dee Margo, the most recent mayor who served from 2017 to 2020, and Joe Wardy, El Paso's mayor from 2003 to 2005. Thank you both for taking some time to come and join us on ABC-7 Xtra here tonight. I know I got a little chuckle out of both of you. There's a lot to unpack there. Let's just start with what's unfolded over the last month or so. The drama, the back and forth, the vetoes, the overrides. Is this the way government is supposed to be working right now?
Absolutely not. You know, you made a comment when you were reading the city charter, and it talks about the professional leadership of council. And personally, I think that's lacking. I think that is the cause of this whole mess. It's nothing to do about Tommy Gonzalez's performance. It's strictly an issue of accountability and the way government should conduct itself, transparent in the light of day. It would be my opinion, just my opinion, that if Mr. Gonzalez wanted to extend his contract, he would have notified the entire mayor and council, and it would have been put on the agenda and then negotiated, not in the public, but that would be the way to go forward. Instead, I think a few steps were skipped that causes this conflict. And it's unfortunate because Tommy Gonzalez does a good job as city manager. And I personally don't have a problem with his salary. That's not the issue. The issue is the manner in which city council conducted themselves. That's my issue.
Well, I would echo what Joe said. It has to do with adult behavior and maturity. But regarding the specifics and how the contract was renegotiated or to be negotiated, it was proper for a council member to bring it up. They did have the majority, I understand, of their discussions in executive session, which has transpired in the past. And the confusion I have is the fact that this contract is the same contract that Mayor Leeser set up with Tommy when he hired him in 2014. And under my watch, all we did was renew and extend with minor corrections the same contract. And we did it at the same time we hired Carla Neiman as the new city attorney. You know, I agree with Joe. I think, and I've said this publicly, that I think Tommy's doing one heck of a job. We were in the trenches for 2.5 years over a lot of things. And the thing I wanted that I thought they should have done the first time was put the cap in there and to not have the cap. But the question that I just, as you played with Mayor Leeser saying, I want to know what it's going to cost, what's the payout, that's all in the contract. There's nothing going to change if they look at it another year or 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road. The payouts and the severance and everything else is part of the existing contractual language. So Mayor Leeser can see exactly what everything would cost. I mean, I calculated it when I was mayor as well. But I do think that there should have been a cap, and I think that would have benefited, and the city manager was in favor of that.
Joe, you mentioned a moment ago you don't have a problem with the number and with the salary itself. That's something that is such a point of contention for constituents. Anytime this is brought up, that's what gets the most emotion out of voters and out of people, is how one person gets paid so much to oversee a city and a community where the average annual income for many is $40,000, if that. Obviously, it's a big undertaking. It's a huge job, and it seems just about anybody who works with Tommy Gonzalez says nothing but good things about who he is, the work he does, and that he deserves it. But is there something voters can do in all of this that doesn't make it so that one person is making so much money in government?
Well, let me explain. This is 2022. In the scheme of things, if you look at some other elected officials and some other professionals in our community, government officials, they have a similar salary structure. If he was in the private sector, he'd be making a lot more. Look, this is a period where people are angry with government, okay? This is one of those things where this becomes an issue, a stick of dynamite to throw. Look, we have to pay competitive salaries. Look, we had to up the salaries when I was mayor significantly for a lot of the heads of the departments in order to attract talent. It's a very competitive.
Is that our
business out
geography
there.
playing against us? Is it hard to attract that quality of talent to El Paso? Why can't we find that within?
Well,
Well,
we have.
we have.
We have.
Yeah.
But at some point, when you have 33 department heads, sometimes what had happened. Let me back up. Let me change this. We didn't do a good job, and Dee's real good on this too, on developing the organization over the years because we elected mayor and council every 2 years, and we didn't have a city manager. We had a chief administrative officer that could be anybody. It could be you. It could be me. It could be the pastor down at the church if he was friends with the newly elected mayor. Okay?
So very political.
It was extremely political and didn't lend itself to professional people coming. You won't attract talent to a community where there is not this backstop where they feel they're secure, they're going to move their families. And we didn't promote from within and didn't develop talent. So we had a void for a lot of years in profession. We had to bring people from the outside, but we have been developing talent tremendously in our community.
The best thing that occurred in our city is truly what Joe did in 2004 with the charter, because it codified exactly what he's talking about. And let me go back to Tommy's salaries. His increases are strictly based on the review evaluation of city council members.
Right.
And plus, to put it in context, the city of El Paso has 6,000 employees. It has an enterprise budget of $1 billion. If that is a Fortune 1000 company. He is the CEO, or the COO, Chief Operating Officer, if you want to call it, whichever way you want to call it. And mayor and council are like the board of directors. But he oversees a very vast entity. And in comparison to local salaries, the superintendent of Isleta has a larger salary than Tommy does at a budget of $400 million.
I was going to make that next point here.
And then the closest entity to our $1 billion publicly funded city is UMC. And the CEO of UMC makes $690,000, 50% more than Tommy does. So, you know, we can debate this back and forth, but when he came in, there were a number of audit findings that we've had none in the last 5 or 6 years. There have been savings in consolidations and other savings that they have done into the millions, and that has been listed by the city manager in his evaluation with the city council. So, you know, the bottom line is, are you getting your bang for your buck? I certainly think so, given the magnitude and the size of the job, what we've gone through, and then see the savings that have been done internally.
And the only knock against, because I hear what you're saying, especially when you compare it to the other entities, but that's one of the knocks too, is when you bring up the city managers of other major metropolitan cities that have larger populations and larger budgets than El Paso, they make less.
Well, it was the contract and the review and the way it was structured going back to 2014 under Mayor Leeser. I mean, that contract is what's been, I don't want to call it sacrosanct, but it was the way it's set up with the evaluations allow that. So, but the capping I thought was very important, and you know, Mayor Leeser vetoed that first one.
We've got to fit in a quick break here, but I do want to go back to 2004 when that city charter was passed and get into how we got to where we are today. We'll do that in just a moment. Still ahead, we look back at what got us to this current form of government, what other Texas cities also have done in an effort to go back to a strong mayor. That's coming up. You're watching ABC-7 Extra.
when a big change in the weather is coming to the borderland. A first alert is the Storm Track Weather Team's signal to be prepared.
You could see gusts up to 50 miles per hour.
We issue ABC-7 first alerts for times like this when we have blowing dust and sand, reduced visibilities, and strong winds. We do it days in advance to keep your family in the know and keep them safe.
First alerts, one more way the ABC-7 Storm Track Weather Team helps you plan your day and keep your family safe.
We know you count on ABC-7 to keep you informed.
Our alert center brings you breaking news as it happens.
We put our experience to work for you every day.
Finding stories you won't see anywhere else in Texas and New Mexico.
We make it clear and understandable,
bringing you extra context, depth, and perspective.
Our team is always tracking.
And first to alert you to any important weather changes.
ABC-7, where news comes first.
The team you know,
the team you trust.
When the weather goes from sunny to severe in the blink of an eye.
A giant dust storm in East El Paso closing in on the city.
I am in the middle of the haboob.
Count on the ABC-7 Storm Track Weather Team to track the changes as they happen.
All of a sudden, hail starting to come down right now.
Alerting you first so you can keep your family and your property safe.
If you are in the track of the storm, you might want to put your car in the garage, under a carport.
ABC-7 Storm Track Weather, always tracking severe weather.
Well, it's going to be a beautiful sunny day today, and we can expect much more of the same over the next few days.
Motorcycles are not invisible, but they can seem that way to drivers who aren't paying close attention. Look twice for motorcycles. There's a life riding on it.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. I'm Eric Elkin. Our topic tonight, the strong mayor form of government versus the council manager form of government. El Paso has been operating under a council manager form since 2004, but some cities have actually tried making a change recently. Just last year, the city of Austin voted on a switch to a strong mayor form of government, but it received overwhelming resistance. Just 14% in favor of it compared to 86% of voters saying they were against the change away from the council manager form of government. That's of about 150,000 ballots cast. Meanwhile, here in El Paso, it was back in 2004 when things changed. A city charter was approved to move to the current council manager form of government. El Paso voters approved the change with 54% of the vote in favor, but the majority was made up of less than 12,000 voters. Joining me once again are two former mayors, DeMargo and Joe Wardy. Joe, you were mayor when that was passed. Mayor Margo, you just referenced before how important that was for our city. Take us through what it was to get that passed, and obviously with some very low voter turnout. That's something that El Paso has always experienced, but the majority ended up voting in favor of the current form of government we operate under now.
Well, look, both Mayor Margo and I have served the community on boards in the Greater El Paso Chamber for years. I served on a couple of different task forces to move El Paso forward. And the number one issue that always came up over the years was moving to a council manager form of government because of the size of the enterprise of El Paso. And we couldn't afford to be flipping every 2 years, mayor and council and city department heads not having the accountability, waiting for the next group to get elected, so to say, not to say that that would happen. Okay, so it was on my platform when I ran for mayor, and I fully supported this. And I made sure right away with the support of council, members of council, that we got this on the ballot. But more importantly, with this went the staggered terms of 4 years staggered terms for mayor and council. Because the council manager form of government by itself would not have fixed our issues. We needed to stagger terms, make them longer. And we even got a small bond issue pushed. We worked really hard to get voter turnout out. It was not an accident that there was a small amount of people. We anticipated more people. I can tell you, the night of the election, I got a call from Mary Benatti, who was the editor of the El Paso Herald-Post. She calls me. I was at dinner with my wife and some friends. How does it feel to have lost your power? I said, I'm elated. This was never about me. This was about our community. You know, we haven't done it for that many years compared to some other cities. We've got to learn how to handle this process better. I think that it's not an issue of our city manager so much as the people that we elect to city council and what them totally understanding what their roles and responsibilities are.
Did you get a sense, I mean, you've only been mayor under this form of government in the time that you were mayor here in El Paso. Did you get a sense that council was operating in which the charter intends, and that there was a harmonious relationship in the way council worked, the way the city manager worked, and the way that you worked as mayor? Joe just mentioned kind of losing some power. Did you feel you still had the power to do what you felt you needed to do?
Absolutely. And, you know, I don't know if harmonious would apply to every incident.
Of course, it's politics. It won't always be harmonious.
But having the city manager be in charge. One of the things, first of all, the only other strong mayor form of government in the state of Texas is Houston. That's it. Every other major metropolitan area has a city manager form of government. It is efficient. And if you look at the history of it, it goes back to the early 1900s when they started implementing this. But, you know, the issues were, I had to explain to council that they had 2 hiring responsibilities and 2 oversight responsibilities. The city manager and the city attorney. No other personnel oversight. But you would have you'd still have council members going around the city manager to department heads to do it. And that's more, I don't know whether I want to call it ego or whatever, but a couple times we had to clarify in as nice a manner as I could that you're out of bounds. You go through the city manager. You hold the city manager accountable. And then his performance is rated based on that accountability. So, but you only have those 2 hires. And that takes away, in the old days, they were mixing and mingling in every department, and it became like a power base. School trustees used to go through that. When I did PISD, I had to remind the board of managers and ultimately the trustees that they only had 2 hires, the internal auditor and superintendent, period. But that's kind of human nature and the desire to be a power broker or of substance or whatever, and I don't want to take anything away from that. But I think the city manager form of government that Joe instituted in our initial charter, there's some tweaks that could be done. I personally think we ought to have, instead of just expanding by population more districts, I think we ought to have 2 at-large members. And that way, and other city councils have that, and certain school districts are. Socorro's has that here as a school district to allow us to go out and make sure we got good people serving who are competent, which is, I think, what Joe was alluding to. We got to elect good, competent people who understand the fiscal needs of this city and oversight.
You mentioned tweaks. One thing that has come up through all of this over the last month or so, an ad hoc charter advisory committee recently voted back in May to remove the mayor's veto power and make them a voting member of council. If that were to happen, would you support that as former mayor? If you lost your veto power and essentially you became a 10th vote in what currently exists with the 9 council members, is that something you would support? Because that would take even more power, it would seem.
Absolutely not, and it's not a power issue.
Yeah.
Look, let me rewind this. It's not popular because it's been used a few times over the years, never to excess, okay? The mayor ends up like being a referee. Sometimes there are some things that happen, the council gets all caught up in an issue, and they make, let's just say, a questionable decision. The mayor vetoes it, explains his veto. Many times council won't overturn his veto. Cooler heads prevail because emotion gets into political issues. Now, the governor of Texas has veto power over any legislation that comes out of the Senate or the House. The President of the United States has veto power over Congress and the Senate. Why does El Paso, Texas, where we have had veto power and it has never been abused, why is this discussion happening about taking the vote away? If you make the mayor just a regular vote, it ends up being the rule of mob. That's my opinion. I think it is a very bad issue for our community.
Do you agree? Would you be against taking away the mayor's veto power?
Yes, absolutely. And it's not like it's all being all-seeing, all-knowing, final. Remember, you just had a veto overridden.
Right.
I had a veto overridden.
August 2019.
Yeah, I mean, I had a veto
and that was politically charged. At least the accusation was that it was politically.
So, you know, it is what it is. The process works. A majority of council members representing a majority of this city made a decision and voted. and that's the way it ought to work in a democracy. And so, I would be totally against that. Sometimes I think some of the charter amendments that you get, because City Council determines what charter amendments are to be discussed as opposed to an open forum with input, although they may have had some input, but some people say, well, I'm as mad that the mayor vetoed this or that, and so I want to take it away. And so I concur with, cooler heads prevail, rational process, and it can be overridden. It's not like it's all, you're not in total control, okay?
Right. And that would support the fact that it's not a strong mayor form of government because there are other entities at play. Well, still to come, we will continue this conversation here on ABC-7 Extra. We're going to get input from the city manager himself, Tommy Gonzalez, as well as Mayor Oscar Leeser on their thoughts about the way the current form of government is working. That's coming up next. You're watching ABC-7 Extra.
And now, most admired alum.
Get up there.
This is so embarrassing. There's no way it's me.
You know her. You love her.
Ruh-roh. What are you doing here?
It's Anna Gomez! Who? Our first gagillionaire. With AT&T Fiber, Anna's got the fastest internet with hyper-gig speed.
I didn't know you went to this school.
I have a lot in common.
Live like a gagillionaire with AT&T Fiber. Now with speeds up to 5 gigs. Limited availability.
One of the biggest fears that we see from so many folks is, have we done a good enough job financially as we go on through the retirement years? I think retirement should look like, every day being a Saturday. We want to have freedom to go do the things that we can do, and we're going to help you understand the tools that will help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. What I get out of that is such an incredible fulfillment of being able to help you get to where you want to be.
Get the Planet Fitness Black Card, our most popular membership with 2,000 plus locations. Bring a friend every time you visit.
I love friends.
And relaxing massage chairs. Feel Fit-tacular with the PF Black Card for zero enrollment, $24.99 a month. Deal ends June 15th.
You had me at Allison 10-speed transmission. Premium features available on GMC Sierra Heavy Duty. Sierra Heavy Duty models are arriving weekly at your local GMC dealers. Available for immediate delivery with 0% financing.
Borderland viewers know the best place to find early evening local news. ABC-7 at 4 has a higher viewer share than other news stations at 5 or 5:30.
Get updated storm track weather, traffic, and breaking news first on ABC-7 at 4.
Welcome back to ABC-7. We've been diving into the differences between a strong mayor versus council manager form of government. We reached out to Mayor Leeser and City Manager Tommy Gonzalez for their stance on the matter. Mayor Leeser says in a statement, quote, "I believe in the council city manager form of government with the establishment of policy and strong leadership by the mayor and council and effective implementation of that policy by the city manager." City Manager Tommy Gonzalez also supports El Paso's current form of government, putting an emphasis on the role council plays. He says in part, quote, "The City Council's strong form of government centralizes government's power in 9 elected council members who are making the decisions for their entire community. Each member of council brings a unique perspective and different perspective that is a comprehensive representation of our community. Together, the council approves the budget, determines the tax rate, regulates land use development, approves capital improvement plans, and evaluates capital financing. And most importantly, they lead our community's strategic plan." He goes on to say council supervises his performance, and all of this work is done as a team. And he points out that it's the most popular structure of government in the U.S. and every major metro city in Texas has this except Houston, which we mentioned before the break. And joining me again are 2 former El Paso mayors, Joe Wardy and Dee Margaret. We've got to get final thoughts in here. So moving forward from everything that's transpired over the last month or so and on public display, of course, Joe, you said earlier it's not working necessarily the way it's intended to work. What needs to happen going forward? We've got an election coming up in November. What needs to happen going forward to make this operation run more smoothly?
Well, I think City Council needs to take a breath. And with every action that you take, you should be looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is an ugly mark against this council. Let's move on. Let's show some professionalism on some other issues that come up. Fortunately or unfortunately, this is going to become a campaign issue in November. Probably shouldn't be, but it is. The manner in which this happened But this is not a referendum on Tommy Gonzalez. Let's make that clear.
D?
The voters need to analyze who we elect as their individual representatives of each of their districts. They need to look at their experience and their competence and basically what have they done. It's just like a job evaluation. Or would you hire this person? And I think too often the voters of El Paso are not engaged, and we elect who we elect. And it's critical for our community as the 6th largest city in the state of Texas and the 23rd largest city in the United States and the largest U.S. city on the Mexican border to analyze and be engaged in order to elect good representation.
Joe Wardy, Dee Margo, thank you for taking the time. And you mentioned the word engaged a couple of times. I think for viewers out there right now who maybe probably shouted at the TV at some point during this conversation, remember this conversation when it comes election time to head to the polls, because it is your voice, your vote. You just have to head to the polls and engage. Thank you for joining us tonight on ABC-7 Extra. I'm Eric Elkin. Have a great night.